Imagine, putting in hours, days, weeks of just intense focus. You manage your risk perfectly, you read the price action, and you finally beat the system.
Right, you do everything you're supposed to do.
Exactly. You pass the evaluation, you get funded, and you are victorious. But here's a staggering statistic to kick things off for you today. Only 7% of funded prop trading accounts actually receive payouts.
Yeah, that 7% figure is just chilling when you think about the human effort behind it.
It really is. So welcome to our deep dive into the 2026 prop trading landscape. We're pulling notes and excerpts today from a highly revealing source called the Prop Firm Payout Crisis, Speed and Survival Strategies.
And this is such an important topic right now.
It is. Our mission for you today is simple, but it is absolutely critical. We want to help you navigate a genuinely perilous market where, winning the trading challenge absolutely does not mean you get to take home your money.
To set the broader context for you here, we are looking at an industry that's been experiencing a massive, rapid structural contraction. I mean, the source points out that since 2023, nearly 1/3 of all prop firms have simply vanished from the market.
Wow. Third, just gone.
Just vanished.
Right.
And the acceleration of this trend is what's truly alarming. Over 80 firms closed their doors in 2024 alone. We aren't just talking about a few bad actors failing quietly in the background.
Right.
Payout reliability has become an outright existential crisis for traders right now.
Wait, 80? In a single year? I mean, that is not a market correction, that is an extinction event.
Yeah, it's wild.
If you're a trader logging into your dashboard on a random Tuesday, that means there is a very real chance the platform you're trading on simply ceases to exist by Wednesday.
Exactly.
It's sort of like climbing Mount Everest, right?
Yeah.
You pay the massive fees, you do the grueling training, you suffer through the elements, and you finally reach the summit.
Best feeling in the world.
Yeah, but then you go to call the rescue helicopter you paid for to get you back down, and you find out the helicopter company went out of business while you were climbing.
That is a terrifyingly accurate analogy. It really feels like the entire industry is built on a leaky bucket business model.
A leaky bucket, how so?
Well, it's a Ponzi-adjacent structure where new water, meaning the failed challenge fees from new retail traders, is desperately needed to keep the bucket full enough to pay out the spigot to the funded traders.
Ah, is it?
And the second those new signups slow down, the spigot runs dry. This B-book model, where firms internalize the risk rather than sending trades to a live market, it relies entirely on the statistical probability that most retail traders will fail.
Which, I mean, historically they do, but things are changing.
Right. They market an endless pool of capital, but the reality is their liquid reserves are entirely dependent on high failure rates. And when you look at the reality of those 80 closures in 2024, the direct impact is falling squarely on the shoulders of the top-tier individuals who actually managed to succeed.
The ones who beat the odds.
Yes. They passed the rigorous evaluations, they generated profit, but the source highlights that the absolute primary complaint among proprietary traders in 2026 is no longer about platform fees or spread markups.
It's not about the difficulty of the challenges anymore, is it?
Not at all. It is payout delays. Traders are being forced to wait weeks, and in some cases even months, just to access the profits they have legitimately earned.
Okay, let's unpack this, because logically this makes zero sense to me from a traditional business perspective.
How so?
Well, if a trader has proven they are profitable, right? If they've completed the challenge and shown they can generate returns without blowing up the account, shouldn't the firm want to pay them?
You would think so.
In any other industry, you retain your top talent. Shouldn't they want to keep a winning trader happy on their platform, generating volume? Why on earth is the prize money locked away from the very people proving the model works?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it goes right back to your leaky bucket. They don't want to retain winning traders because winning traders represent a pure liability on their balance sheet.
Oh, wow. Because they don't actually have the capital back in the trades.
Precisely. The prop firm industry is currently facing a massive structural reckoning between their marketing promises and their actual liquidity.
So they're getting caught.
Yeah, you have a wave of traders who have become highly educated. They're using better risk management, better algorithms. They are succeeding. And that exposes a severe gap. The firms simply do not have the cash on hand to pay out a sudden influx of winners.
So they are essentially hoping you fail, and when you don't, the whole system breaks. That means the firm is forced to find creative ways to not pay you. I know you listening want to know exactly how they're pulling this off.
It's pretty dark, honestly.
What are the specific mechanisms these firms use to stall a payout when the money just isn't there?
The source identifies 4 specific root causes for these agonizing delays. We just touched on the primary one, which is pure cash flow issues.
Right.
If a large number of traders happen to catch a good market move, say a massive breakout on gold or a huge tech rally, and they all become profitable at the exact same time, it creates a run on the bank.
Like everyone rushing to withdraw at once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The firm literally does not have the liquid capital to process all those payouts simultaneously, so they have to artificially slow down the withdrawal queue while they wait for new challenge fees to roll in.
Which brings us to the really creative stalling tactics.
Yes, and the most common weapon they use is the verification bottleneck. Firms use KYC and AML compliance frameworks not for actual security, but to create massive processing delays.
Let me stop you on that one because this is maddening. So these firms are eagerly taking a trader's sign-up money immediately, right? Instantly processing a credit card or crypto transfer for the challenge fee.
Oh, instantly, within seconds.
But suddenly they're demanding complex verification only at the withdrawal stage. It sounds like a casino that lets you buy chips in seconds, no questions asked, but asks for a birth certificate and a blood sample when you try to cash out and leave the building.
That's a great way to put it. But it's actually more insidious than a casino.
Really? How?
Because a casino has heavily regulated cash reserves. They might comp your drinks to keep you at the table, but they actually have the money in the vault. These prop firms often operate in offshore gray zones where they literally use tomorrow's losing challenge fees to pay today's winners.
That's practically a Ponzi scheme.
It's very close. And to buy time, they weaponize the red tape. They'll wait until you request a payout, let a week go by, and then suddenly ask for a notarized utility bill from the last 30 days.
And if you send it.
You send it, and 3 days later, they reject it because the PDF is quote-unquote blurry. You send a clearer one. A week later, they demand a selfie holding your ID in today's newspaper.
You're kidding.
No, and every time they reject a document, the 30-day payout window resets.
That is incredibly predatory. They are just exhausting the trader.
Mm.
And I assume that ties directly into the psychological warfare the source mentions.
It does. The source calls it intentional friction. This is a deliberate tactic where firms drag out the payout process as a dark retention strategy.
Dark retention. Wow.
The goal is to keep the funded capital sitting on the platform for as long as possible. Think about the psychology. You're a day trader. You are used to action. You were quoted $5,000 and it has been 22 days.
You're just sitting on your hands.
Right. You're staring at your screen. The market is moving beautifully. You think, I'll just take one tiny scalp while I wait.
And boom, you hit a daily drawdown limit because your head isn't in the game, you're frustrated, and you over-leverage.
Exactly. And the moment you breach that drawdown limit, they cancel your pending payout, revoke your funded account entirely, and keep the money. The delay isn't a bug. It is a design feature to force human error.
That's disgusting. And if they can't get you to break the rules, I suppose they just blame the computers, right? The fourth root cause from the source is technical problems.
Technical problems, yes. This includes mysterious glitches with payment processors and various system failures.
Funny how that works.
Isn't it? Funny how a payment gateway integration works flawlessly 2047 when a trader is purchasing a $500 evaluation challenge, but the system somehow experiences a critical failure the exact moment that same trader tries to withdraw their profits.
Such a coincidence.
When a system failure only seems to happen on payout day, it becomes highly suspect.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the most important part of this deep dive, navigating the minefield. If you're listening to this, you are putting your own time and capital on the line. You know the shady tactics being used now.
Yeah.
But how do you spot the scams before you buy a challenge?
That's the key.
And more importantly, how do you identify the reliable players? Let's talk about the red flags first.
The source gives us very clear red flags to identify problem firms before you ever give them a dime. First, look out for vague payout timelines that stretch past 30 business days.
If they can't commit, run.
Right. If their terms of service can't commit to a tight processing window, they are almost certainly managing cash flow issues. Second, just as we discussed, excessive verification demands that are hidden in the fine print and only appear at the withdrawal stage, that's a massive warning sign.
Yeah, we covered that nightmare. What else?
Third is consistent negative community feedback on review platforms, specifically regarding denied or delayed payouts. And finally, a complete lack of financial transparency about who their liquidity providers actually are.
Because if they won't show you how they are backed, you just have to assume they aren't back at all.
Precisely.
But it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Yeah.
There are firms operating ethically. The source outlines the gold standards of the industry in 2026.
Yes, and the contrast between the failing firms and the gold standards is sharp. Let's look at the data. First, we have Holoprime.
Okay, Holoprime.
The source identifies them as the absolute speed king of the industry. They offer a guaranteed 1-hour processing time,
An hour. That's fast.
but their actual average is 33 minutes and 48 seconds. And their fastest recorded payout is a mind-blowing 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's just hold on that for a second. 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah.
If Holoprime can process a massive payout in the time it takes me to walk to the kitchen and make a cup of coffee, it completely destroys the argument that technical glitches or verification bottlenecks inherently take a month. Right.
It completely shatters that excuse.
How is that even possible structurally? They must have an entirely different business model.
They do. What's fascinating here is that speed is no longer just a luxury feature for a prop firm.
Wow.
It is absolute proof of a firm's liquidity and their operational integrity.
Because they actually have the money.
Exactly. To achieve a 3-minute payout, Holoprime has to utilize automated risk management auditing. Instead of a human spending 3 weeks manually reviewing your trades to see if you violated some latency arbitrage rule, their algorithms audit the trade data instantly.
Wow.
Combine that with actual verifiable A-book liquidity where the money is sitting there ready to deploy, and they can process it seamlessly. It proves that a month-long wait is a choice a failing firm is making, not an industry necessity.
So who else is on the gold standard list? Because, not everyone needs a 3-minute payout, but everyone definitely needs reliability.
The source highlights DNA-funded and FTMO. Now, both of these firms do require a 14-day waiting period initially.
Okay, so why the wait if they're a gold standard?
It's important to understand why they do this. They aren't stalling for cash flow. They use that initial 2-week buffer to conduct forensic audits of the trading data to ensure no high-frequency toxic flow or manipulative strategies were used.
Which is fair. That's a legitimate practice to protect their capital.
Right. However, the key is that they process reliably afterward. Once that initial window closes, DNA funded processes within 1 to 4 business days, and FTMO completes withdrawals within 1 to 2 business days on average.
So they set an expectation and they actually meet it. They treat it like a professional financial institution.
Exactly. Then there is the Fivers, who have maintained a rock-solid reputation for reliable payouts since all the way back in 2016.
2016. In an industry where 80 firms closed in a single year, surviving since 2016 is a massive indicator of foundational stability.
It really is. They've weathered multiple market cycles and regulatory shifts without ever pausing payouts.
That longevity is practically a century in prop firm years. And there was one more heavy hitter mentioned in the source data, right? A volume player.
Yes, Apex Trader Funding. They are the heavy hitter in sheer distribution volume. The source notes they've distributed a staggering $598 million in total payouts since 2022.
Nearly $600 million. I mean, let's put that in perspective. When you compare a firm pushing out over $500 million to a firm that is holding up a $3,000 payout for 45 days, claiming processor issues,
The contrast is insane.
the reality of the market becomes stark. It is a tale of two completely different industries operating under the exact same name. One is a legitimate funding operation backed by real liquidity, and the other is just a desperate marketing shell game.
And that is why transitioning from these specific firm examples to a broad, repeatable system is so important for traders.
Because you can't just memorize a list of good firms.
Right, the landscape changes daily. The source synthesizes all of this intelligence into a survival framework. They use the acronym VERIFY. But it's really about building a habit of intense scrutiny before you ever take a challenge.
Walk us through it.
It starts with the V-Verify written payout timelines.
Right, because if a trader wants to survive this, they can't just blindly trust a banner on a website that says fast payouts.
Exactly. You need to dive into the terms and conditions and look for hard, written commitments. Does the contract say 24 hours, or does it legally give them up to 30 business days subject to internal review?
Sneaky fine print.
Always. And that naturally leads to the e-examine recent community feedback. The word recent is the linchpin there.
Because a firm might have a 5-star rating on Trustpilot from 2024, but if you sort the reviews by the last 30 days, you might see a sudden flood of traders screaming about cash flow issues.
Yes, exactly. A firm can be entirely solvent in March and a ghost town by May. You have to monitor the real-time heartbeat of their payout reliability.
It also means doing some ground-level reconnaissance.
Which brings us to the R request clarity on payout terms. Before paying a challenge fee, a smart trader should be in the support chat.
Asking them directly, like, what exact documents will you require from me when I request a withdrawal next month?
Yes, get it in writing. If support gives a vague answer or points to a convoluted web page, that is your cue to walk away.
That strategy directly neutralizes that excessive verification trick we talked about earlier. If you get them to commit in writing to what they need up front, they can't easily move the goalposts later.
Right. And then we have the I investigate financial backing and history. Did they pop up 3 months ago with massive leverage promises and insanely cheap evaluations?
If so, they're likely just desperate for your upfront fee.
Exactly. Do they disclose who their liquidity providers are? You have to ask these questions.
And while you're doing all this, you have to be your own compliance officer, which is the F follow-up, with documented records.
This cannot be overstated. Document everything. Take screenshots of your profits, your daily trade logs, your communication with support, and your verification submissions.
Because if a firm tries to claim a technical glitch erased your balance, or that you violated a hidden rule, your documented records are your only leverage. You have to keep the receipts.
Always keep the receipts. And finally, the why use data-driven comparison platforms. Don't just rely on a firm's own marketing copy.
You need third-party sites that aggregate payout speeds, track record data, and verified reviews. You need unbiased data to make an informed decision.
Right.
So what does this all mean for you, the trader? When you look at this survival framework as a whole, it means we have to completely flip how we choose a firm.
It requires a total paradigm shift.
The primary selection criterion should never be how cheap the initial challenge cost is. It shouldn't be how easy the trading rules look, or how high the leverage is, or how flashy the dashboard is.
None of that matters if they don't pay.
Exactly. Reliability of the payout supersedes absolutely everything else.
Yeah.
Because an $80 challenge is incredibly expensive if the payout at the end of all your hard work is zero.
That is the absolute central thesis of the source material. With over 80 firms dying in a single year, choosing a stable firm isn't just a preference anymore. It is an existential necessity.
Right.
If you ignore the payout reliability and focus only on the challenge price, you aren't trading the markets. You're just gambling that the firm will still be alive next month.
So let's bring this all together. We started by looking at that brutal 7% success trap, that reality that passing the evaluation absolutely does not guarantee the reward.
We covered a lot of ground today.
We really did. We explored the deep structural flaws of the leaky bucket business model and the 4 root causes of why your money gets delayed. The weaponized verification bottlenecks, the lack of actual cash flow, the intentional friction designed to psychologically break you, and those highly convenient technical problems.
And we learned how to spot the red flags of a failing firm.
Yes, and contrasted that with the incredible automated speed of Holoprime's 3-minute turnarounds, the rigorous reliability of FTMO, and the massive $500 million volume of Apex. And most importantly, we explored a framework to constantly verify and protect your capital.
It is a totally different landscape out there today, and active awareness is your best defense.
We want to remind you that your time, your mental capital, and your trading skills are highly valuable. You're doing the hard work of analyzing the markets, managing risk, and fighting your own psychology to stay profitable.
It's hard enough as it is.
It is. You should not let a proprietary trading firm's internal cash flow problem become your personal financial crisis. Do the research, demand the speed, and protect your profits fiercely.
This raises an important question, though. Something to consider as we look toward the future of this space.
Oh, I like where this is going.
If so many prop firms secretly rely on intentional friction and delayed payouts just to maintain their own fragile cash flow, What happens to the entire industry ecosystem if traders wake up and exclusively flock to instant payout firms like Hola Prime?
That's a great question.
Will the overwhelming demand for operational transparency and speed actually cause the rest of the shadow industry to collapse entirely?
Oh, I love that thought.
Yeah.
A mass migration of the best traders to
Mm,
the transparent firms, starving the shady ones of their challenge fees and causing a total collapse of the bad actors.
hmm.
I mean, that is exactly the kind of market correction we might just be witnessing right now.
Time will tell.
It will. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your stocks tight, verify your firms, and we will catch you on the next one.